Hey guys, it's Natalie and welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a book unhaul, which if you aren't aware of what a book unhaul is, it's basically the opposite of a haul and you're showing books that you're getting rid of and explaining why you're getting rid of them. So Christmas season is coming very quickly and I wanted to be able to have room for new books that I get for Christmas. So I decided to get rid of 19 books, so I have quite a few to get through, so let's just get right into it. So these first couple of books are books that I've read before in the past years ago and that I just don't have any interest in rereading. So the first book is Herland by Charlotte Perkins Gilman, and she's a feminist author from, I believe, the 1800s. And this is a feminist utopian novel about a bunch of guy explorers who come upon the civilization of all women, and they don't understand how the civilization is stable and good and efficient because it's only women. So basically I read this book like 5 years ago and I just don't really have any interest in rereading it. It's just been sitting on my shelf for a really long time. I think the reason I've been keeping this one is because it's an original print from 1979. So yeah, I think this was published posthumously to Charlotte Perkins Gilman's death. And so yeah, I just don't really find any interest in keeping this anymore. So yeah. So the next book that I read a long time ago and I don't really have interest in rereading is Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, and I got this from the thrift store and I don't really know why I picked this up. I was just like, oh, this is a classic, I should have it on my shelf. And I just don't really have an interest in rereading it. I read this like probably 3 or 4 years ago and I don't really want to reread it. I have a lot of books on my TBR and I don't feel the need to read it again. But yeah, this one is a classic and I kept this on my shelf because I kept telling myself I was going to read it and I just don't really want to, so I'm going to be getting rid of this one. So the last book that I read a really long time ago that I don't have any interest in rereading is If I Stay by Gail Forman, and this one is like, this copy is so freaking dirty and disgusting and there's like no dust jacket. I don't know what happened here. But I don't really have any interest in rereading this again. I don't remember loving it when I read it, so I don't think I'm going to be reading it again. So this one I'm probably definitely going to donate because this is like not in any good condition to keep on my shelf. So a big chunk of these books and the next chunk of books I'm going to show you are books that I got from the thrift store or that were hand-me-downs or that were just sitting on my shelf for years and years or months and months and that I don't really have any interest in reading anymore. So these first 3 books are books that I got from the thrift store or that I've had forever that I don't have any interest in reading, and these are all sci-fi books. The first one is This Place Has No Atmosphere by Paula Danziger, and this one's from like the 70s or 80s or something like that, and I have no idea why this is on my shelf. I think this might have belonged to my dad or something. I'm honestly not quite sure, so I'm getting rid of that one. The next one is another sci-fi, which is Feed by M.T. Anderson. I'm not sure where this came from. I think I read this a long time ago and it's about like mind control and the government and like moon travel and all that stuff. I just don't really have any interest in rereading it. And the last sci-fi book that I got from the thrift store or was just on my shelf forever is The Adoration of Jenna Fox, and this is actually a series by Mary E. Pearson, and this is like a sci-fi series about a girl named Jenna Fox. I just don't really have any interest in reading this anymore, so I'm going to be getting rid of it. So the next 2 books are crime thrillers that I got from the thrift store a long time ago and that have just been sitting on my shelf for like months. And so the first one is The Child by Fiona Barton, and this is the second book in the Kate Waters series, and the first one is called The Widow and the third one is called The Suspect. And I just don't really have any interest in reading a thriller crime mystery journalist series, so I'm going to be getting rid of this one. The next crime thriller journalist police investigative book I have is Beyond a Doubt by Colleen Coble, and this is the second book in the Rock Harbor series, and I just don't, again, I don't have any interest in reading this one, so I'm going to be getting rid of it. And then these next 6 books are books that I got from the thrift store a couple of months ago and that I thought I wanted to read, but I don't actually want to read anymore. So the first one is The Story of Forgetting by Stephen Merrill Block, and this has to do with someone with Alzheimer's or something like that and like a family legacy or something like that, and I just don't really have any interest in reading this, honestly. I think this was just a cover buy. I don't really know. I don't want to read it. This next book is The Flock, The Autobiography of a Multiple Personality by Joan Frances Casey with Lynn Wilson. And I picked this up because I was going through a phase where I wanted to learn more about psychological problems, and I guess I picked this book up on a whim because I thought it would be interesting to read an autobiography of somebody with multiple personality disorder. But I just don't really have any interest in reading this anymore, and plus I have way too many books on my TBR. I have like 350 books on my TBR, and I just don't want to read anything that I don't really want to read. The next book is The Notebook by Nicholas Sparks. I don't really have any interest in reading any of Nicholas Sparks' books, honestly, because I've read a few of them before and I don't think they were very good and I didn't enjoy them, so I don't really find any reason to keep The Notebook, and I don't think I'm going to be reading any of his books ever, so... The next two books are part of a series, and that is The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo and The Girl Who Played with Fire by Stieg Larsson. And this is a thriller mystery series, I believe. It's like an international thriller series, and it's called the Millennium series. And I picked these up on a whim a while ago because I thought I wanted to read the series, and now that I thought about it and I read more of the synopses, I don't want to read it at all, so I'm going to be getting rid of those. And the last book I picked up on a whim that I don't really have any interest in reading anymore is Me and Earl and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. And this book is actually a little bit popular. A lot of people on BookTube have read this, but I just don't really have any real interest in reading this, and it doesn't sound like it's something I would enjoy. So yeah, I'm going to be getting rid of this one. So we have 5 more books to get through. These are the last ones in my Unhaul video, and these are actually 5 books that I read this year that I gave a 3-star rating to. From now on, I'm not going to keep 1 to 3-star books on my shelf anymore because I only want to surround myself with books that I actually liked and gave like a 4 or 5-star rating. So these are all 3-star books that I read this year that I'm going to be getting rid of, most likely handing down to my sisters. So the first one is The Sun and Her Flowers by Rupi Kaur, and if you guys saw my September wrap-up video, I talked about this book, and I also actually did a reading vlog where I read this, and I just really didn't think it was necessary as a piece of literature, and I feel like this is geared toward like tweens or like young teenagers, not really like adults. So I just didn't really click with a lot of the poetry in this, and I just didn't feel it necessary, so I'm going to be getting rid of this one. So the next book I'm going to be getting rid of is Everything Everything by Nicole Yoon, and I'm so sad about this one. I'm so sad I didn't love this because everybody loves Nicole Yoon's work, and I just don't really click with her work, and I just don't really like enjoy it. So I'm really sad to be giving this one up. It has such a beautiful cover. Nicole Yoon has the most beautiful covers ever. I'm so sad that I didn't like this. I've had this since 2017 and I've read it twice, so I think it's finally time to let it go and let somebody else enjoy this little romance story. So yeah, I didn't like this book because I didn't really enjoy the love interest. I thought that the romance was more driven by lust, and I find that in a lot of Nicole Yoon's work. It feels like it's more driven by lust than love, and it's like they say a few nice things to each other and they like spill too much information about their lives and they're like, this is love. And so I don't know, I just didn't really like it. The next book that I'm taking off my shelf is Before I Fall by Lauren Oliver. I gave this one a 3-star, and I feel really bad when I give really big books 3-star ratings because it's like they put so much work into it and there's like so many pages and so many words, and then when I just give it like a rating, I feel so bad about it. But I just didn't really ultimately gain anything from this book. I wasn't moved emotionally in any kind of way at all, and I just kind of read it and I was like, so yeah, I just didn't really love this. It wasn't horrible, but I just didn't love it, so I'm gonna be getting rid of this one. So this next book actually belongs to my younger sister, but I'm just gonna be giving it back to her, and I read it in October this past month, and it is Baldur's Bones by Mary Aragon, and this one was another 3-star book. I just didn't love it. It was kind of just like that middle grade Goosebumps vibes kind of story, and it just like wasn't amazing, so I'm gonna be giving this back to my sister. So the last book I'm going to be unhauling is Simon vs. the Homo Sapiens Agenda, and I read this over the summer, and this was so close to being a 4-star book, but I really hated Simon's best friend Leah, and I also really hated the ending, so that's why I gave it a 3-star instead of a 4-star rating, and I almost loved this. I almost did, but there was a few things, like I said, that just really didn't do it for me. So I am still going to be reading the second book in the Creekwood series, and it's a spin-off of one of the characters, Leah, and it's called Leah on the Offbeat, and I'm still going to be reading it just because I want to finish this little Creekwood series, and I want to give her another chance. Like, maybe if I read this book, I'll realize I don't hate her and that she just has a lot of issues that contribute to her horrible personality. So I'm just going to read Leah on the Offbeat, even though I hated her and she was my least favorite character. But you know what? Everybody deserves a second chance. So yeah, I'm very sad to be unhauling this one. I just really didn't enjoy it. So yeah. I also forgot to mention, I'm unhauling the entire Percy Jackson series. Half of these belong to my boyfriend and the other half belong to my younger sisters, and he was like, you know what, just let them keep the entire set, and I was like, okay. So I'm going to give this back to my younger sisters as a set, and I'm going to purchase my own hardcover set of the Percy Jackson series because I'm just weird about that. Like, if I really enjoy a book and I have it in paperback, I'll buy it in hardback just because it looks nicer on the shelf. So yeah, I'm going to buy my own Percy Jackson hardcover set, so I'm going to give this back to my younger sister. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching my unhaul video. It feels really good and cleansing to just get rid of all these books, and hopefully, you know, they'll find good homes and people will enjoy them. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like and subscribe down below and hit the notification bell if you don't want to miss a single upload, and have a great day. Bye!